Module 9, Intellectual Property, Copyright and Trademarks. Let's take a moment to consider intellectual property, or IP. What is IP and why is it important? Intellectual property refers to inventions and creations of the mind, such as literary and artistic works, and symbols, images, names, and logos. In many ways, the value of your organization or your business depends on how effective you are in identifying, developing, managing, and using IP effectively and sustainably. Brousseau and Brousseau-Gautier argue that there's an interdependence between companies, the community, customers, and heritage in the Technology Innovation Management Review. They urge businesses to cultivate and harvest their IP sustainably in a way that increases the economic value of the IP for the business and the shared value of the IP for the community over the long term. In the same way, not-for-profit organizations need to look at how they can generate sales from their IP to support the long-term sustainability of their organizations and preservation of our culture and heritage. There are two main forms of IP that businesses and organizations in the heritage and culture sectors need to consider: copyright and trademarks. Copyright protects literary works such as books, poems, fiction, non-fiction, dramatic works, and any form of written work, published or the unpublished. It also protects musical works, for example, a musical composition, artistic works, whether 2- or 3-dimensional, whether digital or analog, maps and technical drawings, such as architectural plans and renderings, photographs, regardless of whether they're factual or artistic, and audiovisual works, including film, television, broadcasts, and certain multimedia exhibitions. It also protects content on the internet and websites, and computer software applications, which are generally considered as literary works. Copyright confers a number of rights. The most obvious right is the right to copy or reproduce the work. Other rights include the right to perform a work in public, which includes the right to play music in a public place, the right to record an audio work, whether musical or otherwise, the right to record an event or happening as a motion picture or audiovisual work, whether fictional, such as the performance of a play, or in certain cases factual, such as a television newscast, the right to broadcast or communicate a work, whether by signal or cable, and the right to translate or adapt a work, which include modifying work or translating the work into a different language. You don't need to do anything to get copyright protection. You're covered by copyright automatically. You don't have to apply or pay a fee. You can mark your work with the copyright symbol, your name, and the year of creation. Whether you mark the work or not doesn't affect the level of protection you have. As well as being covered in the UK, you're covered in 177 countries under the Berne Convention. To ensure you can take legal action against copyright infringement in the United States, you should really register your copyright with the Library of Congress. Organizations that produce ebooks and other publications are recommended to contact BDS to get your metadata included in their database. As an organisation, you need to know what copyright content you own and whether you have the rights to copy and distribute content that belongs to other people or other organisations within the UK and internationally. The second form of intellectual property likely to be important to you is trademarks. A trademark protects brand names and the name of your business. You should note that trademarks registered in the UK are not protected abroad. You can register your trademark in the EU until the 31st of December 2020 through the EU Intellectual Property Office. An online application costs €850 and once registered can be renewed every 10 years. Existing EU trademarks still protect trademarks in EU member states after the 31st of December 2020 until they expire. It's possible to extend your trademark to be covered in up to 70 countries through the World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO. Details about the various organizations, the Intellectual Property Office in the UK, the European Intellectual Property Office, and the World Intellectual Property Organization are given on the slides, as indeed is information about changes to trademark law after Brexit. As an organisation, you need to consider which international markets you're going to be selling to, whether it's important to protect your trademarks and or your business name in these countries, and the costs of doing so, or potentially not doing so. So in summary, first, protect your intellectual property in the UK. Second, protect your IP in countries where you're doing business or you plan to do business. I suggest you make contact with the UK Intellectual Property Office. Their details are shown at the bottom of the screen and on the copy of the PDF of the slides. And also, I suggest you contact Highlands Lions Enterprise and speak to one of their intellectual asset specialists. They can help you identify the IP you own, your unique assets, and shared assets. They can value your IP and advise on managing it. And they can help you consider how you can take your products and services to international markets. Before we move on, please take a moment to complete the intellectual property section of your action plan, noting issues that are important for your organisation or business and the actions you need to take.